Solving methods. Types of solving methods: graphing, square roots, factoring, and the quadratic formula. Graphing. The first step in the graphing method is to enter the quadratic function into the calculator as y equals. For an example, we chose y equals 1/2 x squared minus 2. Second step, using the calculator, find the vertex as well as the x and y intercepts. Examples for graphing. So as you can see, this is x squared plus 2x minus 8. So the y-intercept is 0, -8. The zeros are -4 and 2, and the minimum is -1 and -9. This is a parabola here. Some of the advantages for graphing are you can see it easily, it is very accurate, and you can use a calculator. Square roots. The first step in solving by using the square root method is you want to get the x value by itself. Example, x squared equals 25. The second step in solving with the square root method is you want to take the square root of both sides of the equation. The third step is you want to check to see if you can simplify the equation any further. So some of our examples for square roots are 3x squared plus 21 equals 45. So the first thing you have to do is get the x by itself. See, we added negative 21, or 21. And then it went to 3x squared equals 66, which we divided by 3 on both sides. And that left us with the square root of x squared equals the square root of 22. The final answer is x squared, and it was x equals the square root of 22. For our second example, we chose 5x squared plus 5 equals 0. What we did was we added -5 to each side, so we got 5x squared equals -5. We then divided that by 5 on both sides. That left us with the square root of x squared equals the square root of -1. The final answer was x equals the square root of -1. And this isn't okay, so we chose, so the real answer is no real solution. So some of the advantages for square roots are they are very quick and easy to do, they work well because of the square roots in them, and you can put it into a calculator. Factoring. The first step when you are solving by factoring is you check to see if there is a greatest common factor, also known as a GCF. The second step is you look for two numbers that have a sum of b and a product of c. Example, x squared plus 5x minus 24, and that factors into the x plus 8 and x minus 3. So x plus -3 equals b, which is 5, and x times -3 is -24, which is the product of c. So our examples for factoring are x squared minus 3x minus 28 equals 0. That factored into x minus 7 and x plus 4. So we decided to use the FOIL method to check it. So that means the first, outer, inner, last, and that's how you check your problems. And so we factored it back out, and we got the same answer as we had before, as you can see here. For our second example, we did 6x squared plus 19 equals 0, and that can't be factored into anything, so it is no real solution. For our third example, we did 4x squared plus 7x minus 2. So that factored into 4x minus 1 and x plus 2. And that, after we checked it, it came back to how it was before. So some of the advantages of factoring. In factoring, there are multiple types of factoring methods, such as grouping, you can guess and check, and there are many more. They're easy to do, and you can check them very easily. Solving with the quadratic formula. The first step in solving with the quadratic formula is you enter all of your values into the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is x equals -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, and that is all divided by 2a. The second step is you solve and simplify the formula. So for example, we chose 3x squared plus x minus 2. So basically, just remember it's the quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. So we plugged in all the variables. This is a, b, and c, so we plugged it all in. And then what you do is you do the math on the inside, and then you just slowly simplify it down until you get to your final answer. And our final answer was x equals 1 plus or minus 5 divided by 6. For the quadratic formula, there are many advantages. Some of the advantages are it is very accurate. The quadratic formula, unlike many other methods, can be used when other methods cannot, such as when you're factoring. Sometimes you can't factor it, but if you use the quadratic formula, you can still get an answer. And finally, it is not affected by whether or not there is a GCF. The end.